Parts of speech. Introduction to parts of speech. These are the most basic words of the English language. There are 8 parts of speech, and it is important for us to recognize and identify the different parts of speech so that we can understand grammar explanations and use the right form in the right place. In this video, we will be learning about noun, pronoun, verb, adjective, adverbs, prepositions, conjunction, interjection, which are the 8 parts of speech.
Good morning. A noun is a word that names a person, place, a thing or an idea. This can be singular or plural. The types of nouns: proper noun, common noun, compound noun, collective noun, possessive noun, concrete and abstract nouns. Now let us see proper noun. It is the name of a particular person, place, thing or idea. It is capitalized. Person like Maya, name of the person. Place, Mexico. Thing, Challenger Jeep. Idea, Industrial Age. A common noun is the general, not the particular name of the person, place, thing. Won't be capitalized unless it is the start of the sentence, like person, artist, place, country, thing, shuttle, idea, era. Moving on, now let us see compound noun. A compound noun is made up of 2 or more words, like open compound noun, grey fox, press secretary. Hyphenated compound noun, mother-in-law, goodbye. Or closed, folk singer, headlight. A collective noun is the name of group of people or thing. This class of noun denotes a group of people, animal, object or concept or ideas as a single entity. For example, a class of students, a catch of fish, a group of islands, or a galaxy of stars, etc. Moving on, concrete nouns name an object that occupies space or can be recognized by any of the senses. For example, air, melody, stone, aroma. Abstract nouns. This names ideas, qualities or characteristics. Example, attitude, dignity, loyalty, sadness, temperature, etc. and many more. Moving on, possessive form of noun. This shows possession, ownership, general relationship between two nouns. For example, the kitten's tail, the kitten's tail, her dress's collar, the oxen's stall, the children's books. Thank you.
In this part of the video, we will be learning about pronouns, which is a part of speech. In this topic, we will be learning about what is a pronoun, types of pronouns, and its examples. Pronouns are described as words that are used in place of nouns. The main purpose of a pronoun is to avoid any sort of repetition and to also make sentences easier to understand. Examples of pronouns are she, he, they, etc. Ram plays basketball. He also plays football sometimes. Here, the noun is Ram and he is a pronoun which also tells us what Ram does. This is done to make the sentence more easier. Moving further, let us discuss types of pronouns. First one being personal pronouns. It refers to a particular thing or person. Personal pronouns are further divided into 3 subcategories. Subjective personal pronoun. It acts as the main subject of the sentence. For example, I, you, she, etc. I love ice cream. Here, I is a subjective personal pronoun. Objective personal pronoun. These are pronouns that act as the object of a sentence. For example, me, you, her, etc. The police officer told my brother and me to slow down. Here, me acts as an objective personal pronoun. Possessive personal pronouns. These show possession. They define a person who owns an object. For example, mine, theirs, hers, etc. All the books are mine. Here, mine acts as a possessive personal pronoun. Next, we have demonstrative pronouns. These pronouns point to and identify a noun or a pronoun. For example, this, that, those, etc. Please pay for those. Here, those acts as a demonstrative pronoun. Interrogative pronouns. These pronouns are used to ask questions or to interrogate. For example, which, why, who, etc. What did he tell you? Here, what is an interrogative pronoun. Relative pronouns. These pronouns are used to link one phrase or clause to another. For example, which, whomever, whichever, etc. Whoever added the bill made a mistake. Here, whoever is a relative pronoun. Reflexive pronouns. These pronouns reflect back to the subject of the clause or sentence. For example, myself, herself, themselves, etc. She baked a cake for herself. Here, herself acts as a reflexive pronoun. Intensive pronouns. These pronouns are used to emphasize their antecedent, that is, previous subject. I myself find pronouns fascinating. Here, myself acts as a pronoun. With this, we come to the end of our topic, which is pronouns, and we shall be moving to the next part.
Hello friends. So we are going to talk about a really important part of speech, and that is verb. But before that, let's talk about subjects and predicates. So what are subjects and predicates? Every complete sentence has two parts, subject and predicate. So a subject is what we are talking about in a sentence, and predicate is something that tells you about the subject in that same sentence. So for example, the lion is playing with its cubs. So the lion here is what the sentence is talking about. So it is our subject. And playing with its cubs is the predicate because it tells us about the lion, that is our subject. To differentiate between the subject and predicate in a sentence, we can also form a question to understand that. So for this example, we can ask ourselves a question: who is playing with the cubs? Answer to this is lion, which is our subject. And in the question itself, we have the predicate, which is playing with the cubs, right? So now let us head on to verb. What is a verb? A verb is the most important part of any sentence, and without it, no sentence can be imagined. It tells us about the subject's actions, events, or state of being, and is always found in the predicate of a sentence. Now, what does all of this mean? So let's take an example. Again, the same example. The lion is playing with its cubs. The subject here is lion. Predicate is playing with its cubs. Now the verb is supposed to be found in the predicate of the sentence, which is playing with its cub. Now we also know that verb tells us about the actions or events of the subject. So our subject is lion, and what is he doing? He's playing with its cubs. So our verb here is playing. And now examples. Let's look at some examples. Ram sings really well. So the verb here is sings. That man punches really hard. So the verb here is punches. And he runs really fast. Verb here is runs. She is eating lunch. Verb is eating. In all these examples, you can see that the verb is the action word. The word which describes the action of the subject is our verb. Now we are going to look at the types of verbs. There are three types of verbs: action verbs, linking verbs, and helping verbs. Action verbs are those words that express your action or position over something. So, uh, suppose you are running. So, what is the action here? Running is the action, right? Or if you say, I own a car. So, you own a car means you have the possession over that car. So, own is also a verb because it is showing your possession over that car. Now, action verbs are also divided into two categories: a transitive verb and an intransitive verb. A transitive verb is always related to a noun that receives the action of the verb. So, for example, Aditya raises his hand. So, Aditya is subject, raises is the verb. Now, hand here is the direct object. So, when we ask ourselves, what is Aditya raising? Aditya is raising his hand. We are able to answer such questions. So, such an verb is called a transitive verb. But an intransitive verb can never be related to such direct or indirect object. Like Aditya rises slowly from his seat. We know that Aditya, the subject, is rising. But what is Aditya rising? Surely know that Aditya himself is rising from the seat. But when we ask ourselves, what is Aditya rising? There is no noun in the sentence which can answer that, right? So such a verb is an intransitive verb. Now let's talk about linking verbs. A linking verb connects subject of a sentence to a noun or adjective that renames or describes the subject. This noun is called a subject complement. So let's take an example. Jason appeared happy. So appeared here is verb, and it is linking Jason with the adjective happy. So to link Jason, to show that Jason is happy, we are using a verb appeared here. So appeared is linking the noun Jason with the adjective happy. So appeared here is a linking verb. Similarly, Shivangi became a business manager. Business major is our noun. Shivangi is also noun. Both are being connected by a verb became. Ridhima suddenly appeared. Now here it's not a linking verb. Instead, this is an action verb because Ridhima Suddenly appeared means Ridhima showed herself out of nowhere. So this is not a linking verb, but I gave this an example so that you guys can differentiate between a linking verb and an action verb. The same word appeared was used in recent appeared happy, but in that situation appeared linked Jason with the adjective happy. But in this case, appeared is not linking anything. Appeared here itself is the action that Ridhima showed out of out of nowhere. Now helping verbs. Helping verbs are used before action or linking verbs to convey additional information regarding aspects of possibility or time. The main verb with its accompanying helping verb is called a verb phrase. Now, in simple terms, this means that helping verb itself follows another verb. So, for example, Teju is going to Florida. Going here is the main verb, and is also a verb which is helping it. So, another example could be Tanya could learn to fly helicopters. Learning here, to learn is the main verb. Could is a helping verb here. So thank you. This is the end of the parts of speech verb.
Adjectives, parts of speech. In this topic, we will be discussing what is an adjective, degrees of adjectives, types of adjectives, and a few examples of each. The adjectives are basically words that modify or describe nouns, pronouns, or other adjectives. For example, let us take quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. Here, quick, brown, and lazy are adjectives. From this, we can understand that parts of speeches are interconnected in order to form a grammatical correct sentence. Let us move on to talking about degrees of adjectives. There are three types of degrees of adjectives: positive, comparative, and superlative. When you use them depends on how many things you are talking about, that is, if it's singular or plural. A positive adjective is used to describe and not to compare. For example, this soup is good and I am funny. A comparative adjective is one which is used to compare two things and is often followed by the word than. For example, this soup is better than that salad and I am funnier than him. Here, better and funnier are comparative adjectives. A superlative adjective is used to compare three or more things or to state something is the most. For example, this is the best soup in the world and I am the funniest out of all of my classmates. Here, best and funniest are the superlative adjectives. Next, we will discuss the types of adjectives. Descriptive adjectives. These are used to describe nouns and pronouns. Example, she is very beautiful. Here, beautiful acts as a descriptive adjective. Quantitative adjectives. These are used to describe the quantity of something. Example, he gave me many chocolates. Here, many acts as a quantitative adjective. Demonstrative adjectives. These describe which noun or pronoun is being described. Example, this is my pencil. Here, this acts as a demonstrative adjective. Possessive adjectives. These show possession. They describe to whom a thing belongs. Example, that's mine. Here, mine acts as a possessive adjective. Moving on, we have interrogative adjectives. These are used to ask questions or interrogate. Example, what pet do you want to get? Here, what acts as an interrogative adjective. Distributive adjectives. These are used to describe specific members out of a group. These adjectives are used to single out one or more individual items or people. Example, every rose has its thorn. Here, every is a distributive adjective. Articles. Although articles are their own part of speech, they can also be used as adjectives. For example, an elephant can weigh over 6,000 pounds. Here, an acts as an adjective, though it is also an article. With this, we come to an end of the topic adjectives.
Part of speech. What is an adverb? A word or phrase that modifies or qualifies an adjective, verb, adverb, or a word group expressing a relation of place, time, circumstance, manner, cause, degree, etc. In simpler terms, an adverb is a word that describes or gives more information about an adjective, verb, or another verb itself or entire sentence. So whenever you see an adverb, it can certainly answer these questions, which are where, when, how often, how long, how likely, to what degree. So if someone asks you, where did you went last night? You can say, I went home. So home is the adverb here. When someone asks you, when did we meet? And if you say, we met yesterday. So yesterday is also the adverb here. How does a turtle move? It moves slowly. So slowly is again the adverb here. And so any word that you see is answering any of these questions, there is a good chance that that verb is an adverb. Now, an adverb can describe verb, adjective, adverb, and sentence. So let's see all this in example. So let's see an example of adverb describes verb. She runs quickly. Runs is the verb here, and quickly is the adverb, which shows that she runs that too quickly. Then when you say that flower is so beautiful, beautiful is the adjective, and adverb here is so. So in this sentence, we are putting emphasis on this fact that flower is really beautiful. By the way, the really which I use in the sentence that flower is really beautiful itself is an adverb. Adverb describing an adverb. He parties very rarely. So rarely itself is an adverb, which shows that something is being done not really often. How often? Not really often. So rarely is itself is an adverb. And now when you are saying very rarely, it means that it is being done. It is being done rarely, really rarely. Adverb describes sentence. Obviously, you do not have to come. Obviously, here is the adverb, which is putting emphasis that you do not have to come. It is your choice. Now, let's talk about types of adverbs. There are in total 7 types of adverbs: adverbs of frequency, adverbs of manner, adverbs of time, adverbs of place, adverbs of degrees, adverbs of evaluation, conjunctive adverbs. You don't have to memorize all this. All this is sort of obvious. When you talk about adverbs of frequency, you're talking about occurrence of something, how rarely or how frequently or how usually something is occurring. So when you say she normally eat 3 meals a day, so we are talking, so it is really normal for a person to eat 3 meals a day. So here we are talking about the frequency of what is being done at how many times. So when you say he parties rarely, means that is being done like really rarely at low frequency. Then adverbs of manner. When you say the police dealt with the incident very efficiently, or when you say I hit myself really badly. So all these are adverbs of manner. Adverbs of time, like yesterday, soon, yet, tomorrow, already. She had already gone when we got there. So these are adverbs of time, which describe uh, time of something. And adverbs of place. His children go everywhere with him. So everywhere shows that the children are following him at all the places. So this is an adverb of space, a place. Then adverbs of degree. I'm not absolutely certain I posted it. Or he was quite agreeable to accepting the plan. So whatever is being said in the sentence is being backed by the adverb of degree. Then adverbs of evaluation. David is clearly unhappy to be here. Here clearly shows the evaluation of the person which has made this sentence, that David is clearly unhappy to be here. Then conjunctive adverbs. These adverbs are used to conjunct two sentences. I don't want to go. Besides, I'm too tired. So here we have conjuncted two sentences. I don't want to go and I'm too tired with the word besides. Now, superlative adverbs. Superlative means of the highest degree. So superlative adverbs show us which action or state is the best, the strongest, or maybe the weakest, and so forth. Basically, it shows us state of action of this most severe degree. So when you say slowest, he ran the slowest, so he lost. So slowest means nothing. It can't be. He was the slowest. There was nothing else which was slower than him. So he was running slow at an extreme degree. So when you say most, it was the most enjoyable moment of my life. It means that you have never had anything in your life that can be compared to that event. Loudest, he shouted the loudest, which means nobody else shouted louder than him. So these are superlative adverbs. Then there are comparative adverbs. Comparative means to compare something to something else. Comparative adverb shows us which action or state is relatively better, worse, stronger than the other. So when you say less, he is less hostile than his friends, which means that the person you're talking about is less hostile than his friends are. So less here is an comparative adverb. When you say better, you are better than this, means you are better than your current state. You can do better. Slower, we couldn't go slower even if we wanted to. It means that uh, you are comparing your current rate with the rate that you want to achieve. And more, Ritika works out more seriously than Rakesh. Ritika's seriousness is being compared to that of Rakesh here with the adverb more. So with this, I would like to thank you guys, and this was the end of parts of speech adverb.
Hello everyone. Today we'll be discussing on the topic prepositions, which is a part of a speech. Meaning of preposition. Preposition tells us the position of something in relation to another. Definition. Preposition is a word which is placed before a noun or a pronoun to show its relation with something else in the sentence. Kinds of preposition. There are two kinds of preposition. Number one, based on their use in a sentence. Number two, based on the construction of prepositions themselves. Based on their use in a sentence, the prepositions are divided into three categories. Number one, preposition of place. Number two, preposition of time. Number three, preposition of movement. Preposition of place. Preposition of place refer to those prepositions which can be used to show where something is located. Here are some of the examples for preposition of place: above, up, after, on, before, against, by, behind, etc. The aeroplane is flying above the clouds. Above is the preposition. The dog buried the bone under the ground. Under is the preposition. Our house is at the end of the street. Here at is the preposition of place. The cat ran across the road. Here across is the preposition of place. Preposition of time. A preposition of time helps to link the noun or pronoun with a time value. It functions as an indicator as to what point of time did an event occur. Here are some of the examples of preposition of time: above, about, before, for, by, around, in, ago, at, past, since, etc. The train is about an hour late. Here about is the preposition of time. The class begins at 8 o'clock. At is the preposition of time. My birthday falls on Wednesday. Here on is the preposition of time. India has been independent since 1947. Here since is the preposition of time. Preposition of movement. A preposition of movement is used to show movement to or from a place. Here are some of the examples of preposition of movement: down, past, into, behind, up, onto, through, off, etc. The cat has climbed up a tree. Up is the preposition of movement. The children got off the bus. Off is the preposition of movement. She ran along the pavement. Along is the preposition. The bus goes towards the market. Towards is the prepositions. Here are some of the exercises which you can try. The books are dash the cupboard. The answer is the books are in the cupboard. The dog is dash the chair. Answer is the dog is under the chair. The apple is dash the book. The answer is the apple is on the book. Here are some more exercises which you can try. Now, based on the construction of prepositions themselves, the prepositions are of four different kinds: simple prepositions, double prepositions, compound prepositions, participle prepositions. Simple prepositions. Prepositions that consist of one word and are very simple to understand. These are the most basic prepositions and are used frequently. Here are some of the examples for simple prepositions: above, under, around, through, after, on, before, about, etc. The paper is on my desk. Here on is the simple prepositions. The man was standing under the tree. Here under is a simple preposition. I will meet you near your house at 5 p.m. At is the simple preposition. She is currently staying in a hotel. In is a simple preposition. Double preposition. Double prepositions are two prepositions but are joined to make a whole new one. Here are some of the examples for double prepositions: inside, outside, into, onto, upon, up to, within, without, amid. Outside the house lies a beautiful garden. Outside is the double preposition. It is up to us to find a way out. Up to is a double preposition. The dog jumped onto the bed. Here, onto is the double prepositions. Once upon a time there lived a king. Here, Upon is a double preposition. Compound preposition. Compound prepositions are two-word prepositions. Unlike double prepositions, compound prepositions are not joined and turned into one word. They remain as two different words. Here are some of the examples for compound prepositions. According to, apart from, close to, because of, far from, next to, and etc. My car is parked in front of the house. Here, in front of is a compound preposition. Rita was never close to her parents. Here, close to is a compound preposition. She cannot stay here as of now. Here, as of is a compound preposition. His behavior is far from normal. Here, far from is a compound preposition. Participle preposition. Participle prepositions are basically participles used as prepositions. A participle is actually with a verb that ends with an en or ing. Here are some of the examples for participle prepositions: concerning, during, excluding, given, following, failing, respected, provided, pending, considering, etc. Here are some of the exercises which you can do. Thank you.
Topic is conjunctions. What is a conjunction? It is a joiner, a word that connects part of sentence, a word connecting words, clauses or sentences. Without conjunctions, the sentence would be complex. For example, I like cooking, I like eating, I don't like washing dishes outside. Moving on, the types of conjunctions: coordinating conjunctions, subordinating conjunctions, and correlative conjunctions. Coordinating conjunctions that join individual words, phrases, and independent clauses. There are 7 coordinating conjunctions, namely for, and, nor, but, or, yet, so. We can remember them in the short form of fanboys. For examples, I do not miss classes, nor do I arrive late. I played cards with my friend, but I kept losing. Second type, subordinating conjunctions. These are the conjunctions that joins the sentences that are dependent on the each other. For example, she will call when she arrives. He succeeds because he works hard. I must work harder if I want to pass. In these sentences, if the first part of the sentence completes, then only the other part will complete. Moving on, correlative conjunctions, a type of conjunction that functions in a pair with both words working together to balance words, phrases or clauses. For example, both the teacher and the students will be receiving special award tomorrow. They will either work full time or study full time. I will either work, I will neither work nor study during the summer time. These are the type of conjunctions. Thank you.
Hello everyone. The topic for today is interjections, which is also a part of speech. Definition: an interjection is a word or expression that occurs as an utterance on its own and expresses a spontaneous feeling or reaction. It is a diverse category encompassing many different parts of speech, such as exclamations, curses, greetings, response articles, hesitation markers, and other words. Due to its diverse nature, the category of interjections partly overlaps with a few other categories like profanities, discourse markers, and fillers. The use and linguistic discussion of interjections can be traced historically through the Greek and Latin modesty over many centuries. Interjections: an interjection at the beginning of a sentence is followed by an exclamation mark or comma at times. Example: wow, that was the best goal of the entire tournament. Oh, I forgot to bring my book. Great, we can leave now. Interjections are not words that are connected as other parts of sentence, but merely sounds standing by themselves. Interjections are also used to express some types of emotions such as disgust, yuck, joy, yeah, excitement, enthusiasm, etc. Interjections have no grammatical relation to any word or groups of words in the sentence. Example: alas, this is the end. Hey, do you know where you are going? That's all nonsense. Oh, I can't believe that. Interjections are also used as addition to words, such as nouns, pronouns, adjectives, and some other parts of speech. Example: good, I'm thrilled to hear that. Horrors, Look at the mess. Great, keep up the hard work. Well, when do you intend to pay for it? Some of the interjections that you use or hear in speech are not even words, although it is possible to represent the sounds expressed. Phew, what an awful day. This cutlet tastes good. Humph, that's stale news. Punctuating interjections. If an interjection is spoken calmly, simply put a comma after it and continue the sentence. For example, shh, the baby is sleeping. Oh my, I dropped my pencil. If an interjection is spoken with more emotion, it is followed by an exclamation point. The next word is then capitalized. Ouch, I just cut my finger. He scored the winning touchdown. Wow. Common interjections. Oh, ouch, shh, wow, hooray. Here are some of the more examples of interjections. Thank you.